The comment of the week goes to Could You Not Do 3168. Thank you so much for your comment. I really like reading y'all's comments. And if you'd like a chance to have a shout out in a video, all you have to do is leave a comment. That could have been you.
I haven't decided exactly what I want to draw just yet, but I am pretty sure about what I'm going to use. Strathmore Mixed Media Sketchbook, Ohuhu Markers, Prismacolor Premier Pencils, maybe some of my favorite pastels as well, Holbein Watercolors, Princeton Neptune, which I did a video recently about this brush. Now this is the exciting part. I found these Pentel Arts brush pens in my art supply stash recently, and I've been wanting to use them in a drawing, so I think I finally will. What else? And last but not least, my heat tool so I can dry the watercolors quickly. I think that's everything. I don't expect to use Posca pens today, but we'll see how I feel once I start drawing.
This is the sketch that I'm going with. It's of my OC Shauntii, and I took it from a page of studies that I did the other day as part of AF Year of Art, which, if you would like to see that was the last video I uploaded if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, the actual design of this character is inspired by chatty and women's long braids. I really love how those braids look, and so I decided to incorporate that into this character's design because I've been trying for the longest time to figure out what this character's hairstyle should be, like what fits her personality and also would be suitable for her line of work. She's like a Star Wars OC, and she works in an inn, and so my thought process is there are a lot of hairstyles that, she could have, but I wanted it to match her personality and also seem kind of sci-fi Star Wars-y as well, and also be practical for her job. She wouldn't want something I think that would get in the way, but also I feel like she would maybe like long hair. So maybe while she's actually working, she pulls all of the braids back into a bun or a ponytail or something like that. But when she's not working, then she lets them down and also maybe, I don't know, maybe put some beads in there or something. I really like the different sections that the chatty and braids are in. I've seen several different types, but you'll have two going along the side of the head in front of the ears, and then there will be two more sections in the back layered on top of each other. I kind of modified it to not make it an exact copy of that. She does have the two braids in front of the ear, and she has one going down her back, but then at the top section it's it's not a puff, it's kind of which I do this with my own hair, I kind of pull my hair back into a really loose bun. It's not a puff, but it's puff adjacent, if that makes sense. For a while I was toying with the idea of that top section being just a braided bun, but I don't know, I kind of like the bun, the puff bun, but hey, you know what, a character can have multiple hairstyles. Maybe sometimes it's a braided bun, maybe sometimes it's this puff thing, I don't know. I'm really excited that I finally figured out something for this character's hair because it has been a while developing this character, for a long while, and I just could not figure out something for her hair. For a while it was two small braids going in the front with beads, and also in front of the ears, but much smaller than the ones in this drawing, and the rest of her hair was just out and kind of an afro, and then she would wear a bandana over it, which I don't hate that, and I still might draw that character in that hairstyle from time to time, but this hairstyle just feels like it fits her a lot more, which I really like. Now the only thing they have to figure out is what her outfit should be. I have an established style for a couple, well, not just a couple, few of my other OCs, but this particular OC I just can't seem to figure out what style of clothing I want her to wear. I feel like it should be earth tones, cargo pants type thing, but I have to workshop that a little more. I have a board on my Pinterest where I save Star Wars-y looking images. Not all of them are Star Wars, but when I look at them, I'm this reminds me of something someone would wear in the Star Wars universe. So I have that saved, and I have some things in there that I feel would look good on this character. I just kind of have to like sit down and actually try some things out, you know. But that's enough yapping about the OC design process, so I'm going to talk about the actual drawing process now. I have not touched that Neptune brush since I filmed that last video, and so I was really excited to pull it back out and paint something with it, and I really enjoyed this painting process, especially with that brush. I was able to get like a lot of different watercolor textures and stuff with the brush, which was really fun. I don't want to talk about the brush too much because I already did a video about it, but the only thing that I will say is that using a bigger brush definitely is my new thing. This uses a size 6, so this is a size 14. It covers so much more area, and I think it also helped with the different watercolor textures we would get because I didn't have to keep going over the same areas over and over again. That's all I'm going to say about the brush. I didn't go into this painting with the intention of experimenting, but it kind of turned out that way. I did a lot of layering with a bunch of different colors. I did pull up like a color palette reference, and I think I should like maybe do that a little more often, as in like pulling out a color palette reference before I start so that I can kind of have an idea of what I'm going for, because it was super helpful. Like I didn't have to like think too much. Like I didn't have to like pause and okay, what color am I using next, because I didn't think about that beforehand. So that was really nice. I layered colors a little differently than I normally would this time around. I don't usually layer colors in this way. I went in with the bright red color first, and then a little bit of yellow, and then went in with the red color again. Not just on the face, but also in her hair, which is something I typically do not do. I typically use like a purplish brown, dark brown, or purplish black for brown hair. But for this particular drawing, I don't know what possessed me to do this. I just kind of did it and ended up using the same color that I was using to lay down the base for her skin tone. I used that all throughout her hair as well, which I really like how that turned out. I really just zoned out while I was painting this. I think I was like listening to music or something, so I can't remember much of like my thought process. I honestly was just kind of let go and just kind of painted, but it was really fun. The only regret that I have with this particular piece is I did use those Prismacolor pencils, and I think it was a little bit of a mistake. Like I didn't like use them a lot, but I kind of used it at the end, which you'll see in a bit, for her skin tone to kind of touch up some things. But I kind of feel like that might have been a little bit of a mistake, but it's not like super noticeable, so it's fine. I just need to stop overthinking. Also, I went into this drawing knowing that I wanted to use those Pentel brush pens. However, after I finished the actual painting portion, I was like, I kind of like how it looks without line art, which is surprising for me. I always do line art, or almost always do line art, especially for watercolor paintings. I don't think I've ever done a watercolor painting that did not include line art. So the fact that I was even thinking such things, like, oh my gosh, what made me think of that, was crazy. But because I did want to use those pens in a drawing, I did end up doing line art. And I like how it looks with line art, but I really like how it looked without the line art. So I might try that next time. As you can see, I'm just building up the colors that I have already laid down slowly with a bunch of thin washes of color. Eventually I moved from that red and that yellowy orange color to a purple, and I also ended up going over her entire face with that color to kind of darken up her skin tone a little bit. I really love the textures that I was able to achieve in her hair especially, and also look at me, I'm using blue to neutralize the orange in her hair. Okay? Big brain moment. I usually don't do that. So it was almost like I was like mixing colors directly on the painting. It was so fun and so cool. And because I used so many layers, that also helped me achieve those nice, cool watercolor textures. Like I said earlier, like I feel like this looks good as is. I did darken up some of the areas around her eyes just a touch, just a little bit later, but I feel like this looks good. Like this to me looks pretty finished. Like had I just left it here, like right after I colored the background, like I feel like that would have been fine. That would have been okay. But I sat down with the intention of using those Pentel brush pens, so I couldn't not use them. I mean, I could have. I have free will. I could have not used them, but my brain told me I couldn't not. So I did end up using them, of course. I said I wasn't going to talk about the brush anymore, but do you see the point on this thing and the little lines I'm able to get with it. Like, that's crazy. Like, I don't need such teeny tiny brushes. I can just use one brush. It's incredible. It really is incredible. Also, really quick to touch on the OC design parts of this drawing. One thing that I decided on recently for this character is to have like small little markings on her face to kind of, I don't know, spice things up a little. I don't know. I feel like it suits the character and I think it looks nice. The only thing is, I'm not exactly sure what I want those markings to be. So that is yet another thing that I have to kind of keep working on until I decide on something that I like. I guess I just like giving myself more work to do, but it's okay because it's fun work, you know? Anyways, this is the point where the Ohuhu markers came in. I used it for the background because I knew that I wanted a pretty flat, solid background and not a lot of texture in the background. I also used it to kind of touch up a few areas. I colored her earring with it, added some warmth to the shadows, and also a little bit of warmth to some parts of her face. I think this is the point when the drawing starts to feel finished. And this is the point where I said, like, I feel like I could have left it right here. Especially the hair, because you can see all the different watercolor textures in the hair, and it just looks so cool and nice. Now it's time for the line art. Oh my god, it's time for the line art. I actually came to this the next day, so if the lighting is a little different, that is why. The sun had not yet risen, and I tried my very best to light my space in a way that would hopefully mimic the sunlight that I was getting the day before. But you know how it is. But this pen was really, really nice to work with. The only thing is I feel like I would have to work on control a lot more. There were times where I definitely felt like I went a little too heavy-handed in some areas, and so the lines turned out a little thicker than I would have liked, particularly in the hair. I feel like I was pretty careful when I was doing the line art on her face, but the hair, that's a different story. Like, it's not bad, but I definitely feel like this is something I should practice some more if this is a supply that is going to be in my regular art supply rotation, which I think it just might be because it is a really nice brush pen. Okay, I used to use brush pens a lot. Like, I used to watch like a bunch of different artists. Juicy Ink, I don't know what her YouTube name is now, but I'll put it on the screen somewhere. I used to watch a lot of her videos, and also Tatiana Vogt, and just like seeing how they use brush pens, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get one of those. So I did, and I got like, there was like a Pentel brush pen. It wasn't like this one, where this one has like actual bristles. I don't know what type of tip this pen had, but it was like kind of squishy, not quite rubbery, but it had like an interesting texture. And I used to use that one, and I got these particular ones for the Pentel Arts ones for Inktober to use them one year, which is that still on my channel? I can't remember if I privated it. Why was it so hard to say? I can't remember if it's privated or not. 2017 or 2018, like, they're pretty old, and it was when I was pretty new to making videos, and you can kind of tell. And I think that's when I was using these, and I think that's what I got them for. And I was going through my art supplies recently and realized that not only did I still have these, but that they were not dried out. And like I said, I've not pulled these out since like 2017, 2018. So the fact that they're like still usable is shocking. I did not expect that. I like pulled them out and was swatching and I was like, these bad boys better be dry as a rock. They weren't. They were as wet as a wet rock. But I was so surprised by that. I was going to use the black one for this drawing originally, but I ended up going with the sepia one. The sepia one, to me, it's not sepia. But maybe I don't know what sepia is. I think I do, though, and I don't think this is it. It's more of a warm brown. What? That's not what I meant to say. I meant warm black. That's what I ended up going for with this drawing. I felt it would be a little less harsh than a black line, even though this is still pretty dark, but the black is, it's black. I also have a gray one, and I also have refills for the black, so I have like 2 refills for the black. Brand new packaging, never been opened, so I'm set for a while. I do think these are going to be in my regular art supply rotation, so it is really nice to know that I have plenty to work with, because they're still good. Like, that's crazy. I did not expect that at all. I literally have not touched these things in years. That's crazy. Pentel, what is your secret? While I was looking through my art supplies that particular time, I also found some Winsor & Newton inks. Now those were pretty dried up. There was like 2 or 3. There was definitely one that was still usable. One I couldn't get open, and I think there might have been another one that was still usable. I think that was the black one, but my other ones were all dried up. Like, you could see, like, that bad boy's gone. I just don't really gravitate towards those type of supplies anymore, especially like those Winsor & Newton inks. They're like in little pots, and that's just not something I really like to use. However, these Pentel arts are a little more my speed, because I don't have to like get out a paint palette and get a nice brush to use the stuff with and all that. I do have some Gellyroll inks, some Gellyroll acrylic inks that I also pulled out while I was going through my stuff that are also still usable. And that might go back to 2018, 2017 as well. And I'm pretty sure they appeared in one of my old videos as well. Like maybe even like an old haul video or something. And those are still like good to go, and I was able to open those up, and I would like to incorporate those in my artwork in some way as well, because I don't like to waste supplies if I can help it, you know, because they cost money and I don't like to waste and stuff. The only thing is I feel like I should find a suitable brush for inking for those. I considered putting some of that ink into one of my old water brushes that I also haven't been using, but I don't know how that would be. Like, I don't want something to like dry up and like mess up a brush, even though I'm not using those brushes, so it's not like I would be losing much. Or here's another idea: I could like treat it as a one-time use thing, put the ink in the brush and use what I'm going to use for one time and rinse it out. Just might try that. Since I was just on the topic of art YouTubers that I used to watch, I am curious to know what art YouTubers you used to watch. If you were watching art YouTubers around 2017, 2018. For me, it was Juicy Ink, Tatiana Vogt, Drawing with Waffles, Bailey J. Who else? Catwalk, I think that's their name. Drawing with Jazza, is that his name? Oh my gosh, I'm really digging deep here trying to remember, but I'm curious to know what were some art YouTubers you used to like to watch. But anyways, to finish up this drawing, like I said, I did pull out those Prismacolors. Not a big mistake, just a little mistake, but it's okay. It is eating me up inside just a little bit though. Anyways, I also used a Gellyroll to add some white highlights, and I signed it with a Posca pen. Overall, this was a really fun drawing process. 10 out of 10. Would paint like this again.
That is everything. I really enjoyed working on this piece. I really like how it turned out, and I really like the colors, and I also enjoyed using this pen. Yeah, this was really fun to work on, and I had a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed using the brush. But anyways, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Shout out to my patrons, Marymount Illustrations, Sister Donna 55, and Kelsey. Thank you so much for being my patrons. I really appreciate you and everything you do. Wow, oh my goodness. Here are some more videos that I think you would like, and I will see you next time.